The Renaissance, or rebirth, was a period in time that saw a peak in interest of art, culture, and philosophy. Its influence is deeply rooted in classical antiquity, like the ancient Greeks and Romans, as well as religious devotion. The Middle Ages are generally thought of as a time of cultural innovation and intellectualism, suffered due to a variety of factors like wars, plagues, and feudalist social structures, among others. Around the 14th century, however, classical texts of past civilizations were discovered, and there was a newfound interest in free thinking, human nature, and overall discovery. At the time, the Catholic Church remained one of the most powerful institutions, commissioning some of history's most breathtaking masterpieces. Renaissance artists blended humanism and spirituality, creating some of the most captivating works. Today, we will be exploring some of the most famous works of that era: the creation of Adam, the Last Supper, the Statue of David, the miraculous draught of fishes, the Pieta, the Isenheim altarpiece, and the Deposition. Michelangelo's creation of Adam is one of the most famous images in art history. It was commissioned by Pope Julius II for the Sixtine Chapel. This fresco captures the events of Genesis chapter 1, where God creates man. The influence of classical sculpture is evident in Adam's muscular form, a testament to the Renaissance's admiration for ancient Greek and Roman art. It also alludes to the knowledge of the anatomy of the human body and how our muscles moved and contracted that many great thinkers of the time were studying. This piece embodies the Christian doctrine of divine intervention. The separation between God and Adam emphasizes the free will of man, as we see God's finger fully stretched while Adam's finger is not. Some scholars even suggest that the shape of God's surrounding figure resembles the human brain, almost suggesting God is granting man intelligence. This piece also is a great example of how the Renaissance blended faith and new-found knowledge. Michelangelo, who saw himself primarily as a sculptor, translated his mastery of anatomy into this great piece of art. In 1495, Ludovico Sforza commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to create a fresco for the dining hall of the Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan, Italy. This mural is representative of the well-known biblical scene, an emotionally charged moment of Jesus' Last Supper with his closest followers. Da Vinci captures the disciples' reaction at the moment Jesus announces that one of them will betray him. Da Vinci also incorporated his deep understanding of human emotion. Each disciple exhibits a distinct psychological reaction from shock to disbelief. The use of linear perspective allows the eye to direct directly to Christ, reinforcing his divine centrality. The triangular composition, with Christ at his apex, subtly suggests the Holy Trinity. Before Michelangelo's David, depictions of the biblical hero were often post-victory, holding Goliath's severed head. Michelangelo, however, opted for a moment of tense anticipation before the battle. The Renaissance was not just a period of great creative expression, but also one of great power struggle in Italy as city-states often clashed. Commissioned for Florence's cathedral, David became a symbol of the city itself. This interpretation aligned with Florence's political struggles, where the city saw itself as a David facing the Goliath of other city-states. Michelangelo's mastery of anatomy is once again evident in David's poised stance, the contrapposto, or counterpose, which is borrowed from classical sculptures, showing the influence of the Greek and Romans. Every muscle is tense with potential energy, emphasizing not just physical strength, but also divine providence. Raphael's miraculous draught of fishes was one of the 10 tapestries commissioned by Pope Leo X for the Sixtine Chapel. Unlike frescoes, tapestries were movable and allowed for papal influence to spread across Europe. Here Raphael captures Christ's miraculous intervention, guiding Peter and his fellow fishermen. The luminous colors and meticulous composition create a divine spectacle that reinforces the Church's teachings. Faith yields abundance. The rich detail woven with gold and silver threads as a testament to the wealth and grandeur of the Vatican. Raphael, known for his harmonious compositions, uses the placement of figures to guide the viewer's eyes seamlessly through the scene, balancing human action with divine intervention. Michelangelo's Pieta, housed in St. Peter's Basilica, is an unparalleled sculpture of divine grief and beauty. Commissioned by French Cardinal Jean de Belair, it redefines traditional depictions of the Virgin Mary holding Christ. Unlike the expected aged mother figure, Michelangelo's Mary appears youthful, embodying eternal purity. The highly polished marble transforms stone into flesh, a technical marvel, and enhances the sculpture's emotional depth. The way Christ's lifeless body drapes across Mary's lap echoes the classical structuring of a mourning figure, drawing a direct lineage from the antiquity to Renaissance religious art. While Italian Renaissance art often idealized the divine, German painter Matthias Grunwald embraced raw suffering. The Isenheim altarpiece, created for a monastery treating plague victims, represents a nightmarish crucifixion, with Christ's body ravaged by disease, wounds, and hours of torture. On the left-hand side, we even see what seems to be his mother and Mary Magdalene in distress. This was intentional. For those suffering, Christ's agony served as a source of comfort, proof that he understood human pain. Unlike the mathematical harmony of Da Vinci, Grunwald's work relies on intense emotional and dramatic contrast, showcasing another facet of religious devotion in Renaissance art. Finally, we turn to Pontormo's Deposition, a work of Mannerist distortion that signals the late Renaissance shift toward exaggerated emotion. Unlike traditional deposition scenes, there is no clear cross, only elongated figures weightlessly floating in grief. Commissioned for the Capponi Chapel, this painting reflects the anxiety of an era where religious certainty was faltering. The vibrant colors and unnatural poses create an almost dreamlike vision of sorrow, emphasizing spirituality over realism. The Renaissance was not just a rebirth of classical ideas, but a reimagining of faith in the age of an intellectual awakening. Whether through Michelangelo's sculptural mastery, Da Vinci's psychological insight, or Grunwald's raw emotion, these works remind us that art has always been a bridge between the divine and the human. Even today, these masterpieces continue to inspire, standing as testaments to a time when art and faith were inseparable. The Renaissance may have ended, but its artistic devotion to the Christian narrative remains immortal.